Okay, so we'll start with lately, moving to Cal.
Test one, test.
It's a perfect day for baseball at T-Mobile Park, and Mariners broadcaster Aaron Goldsmith is in the midst of his pregame routine. Though this day includes something a little different, recording a podcast with his best friend Gary Hill and Mariners president of baseball ops, Jerry Dipoto.
Welcome once again inside the Wheelhouse Podcast. Aaron Goldsmith, Gary Hill, and Jerry Dipoto. And Jerry, things are going very well in Marinerland, I would say.
Aaron joined the M's broadcast team in 2013, and in the years since, he's become beloved by fans, providing the soundtrack to some of the most exciting moments in franchise history.
Off the glove of Young, Dylan Moore's coming home, and the Mariners win it!
The ballpark is loud. I mean, this is a really great home atmosphere. When there are 40,000 people in T-Mobile Park and the Mariners have a moment, when you feel that underneath you and you hear that piped into your ears through all the microphones in your headset, there's nothing more big league feeling than that.
Here's the pitch. Julio swings, corks it on a line. This game is now tied!
Aaron's voice, deep and rich, seems almost tailor-made for baseball. But as a kid growing up in the Midwest, he didn't dream of calling games like some announcers do. Instead, Aaron took a circuitous route to the broadcasting booth.
Yeah, it doesn't make for great TV. I have like the least romantic story of how I got into broadcasting. I was the ultimate late bloomer. Like I was a history major in college. I had no idea that broadcasting would ever be something that I did. I listened all the time to sports talk radio and to games. Never one time, seriously, never one time did I ever imagine that would be me one day. I had the light bulb moment truly about a month and a half before I graduated college. I literally can remember waking up one morning as a senior in college and it just clear as day. And at the time I thought I wanted to be a sports talk show host, and that's really what I kind of pursued for the first 6 months or so. And after a little bit of a pressure from an advisor of another school that I went to after I graduated college to learn about broadcasting, did play-by-play ever come on my radar, and it really was kind of forced, and then I eventually, of course, fell in love with it.
And you had to work your way up the ranks. You're calling independent league games in Illinois, you do the Cape Cod League, you end up in Portland, Maine, and Frisco, Texas. What was it like, I guess, working up the ranks? Because it's not as glamorous, I think, as some people maybe imagine.
Not glamorous at all. You know, my story, my journey to get to Seattle is very similar to almost every broadcaster who gets here. I'm not unique at all in that regard. It took a lot of years, a lot of grinding on bus rides, a lot of moving. It's a really nomadic lifestyle. But after 6 years of a slog and almost giving up, like truly, I was one off season away from saying I will propose to Heather. We will go live a normal life in the Midwest, and I was going to be an appliance salesman. At the time, I was a professional dog walker and an assistant JV high school basketball coach, living with a friend on his couch. And thank goodness I got a full-time job in Dallas with the Rangers AA club, and things kind of took off from there.
The gig in Dallas led to another, as the voice of the Pawtucket Paw Sox, the Boston Red Sox AAA affiliate. There, he applied for the Mariners job, not really thinking he had a shot, especially since he was competing against other broadcasters with previous big league experience.
I had convinced myself, probably as a defense mechanism, I'd convinced myself that I wasn't going to get the job. But I remember I was at the ballpark where the Paw Sox played at Old McCoy Stadium, and I got a phone call, and I thought this was the rejection call. And when I got the news that I would be the guy, I remember just falling to the ground, like just sitting on the ground, almost like I was exhausted. But in reality, I just was utterly stunned. It's the greatest phone call I've ever gotten in my life, and it truly changed my life, Heather, my wife's life, and our eventual 3 children. It's been everything for us.
At the age of 29, Aaron became the new guy on the M's veteran broadcasting crew, joining a group featuring Dave Sims, Mike Blowers, and of course, the legendary Rick Riz.
Here's the stretch. The 3-2 pitch, swinging a drive, deep to right field, stay fair. Holy smokes, he did it!
Rick, from the very first moment I ever met him, he's exactly what you think he would be. He was the perfect guy to kind of break in with because he went ahead, called games like he does, preps like he does, and just allowed me to just sit next to him and watch and learn and listen.
Now Aaron is an integral part of Mariners baseball, splitting his time between the M's radio and TV broadcasts. And Seattle? Well, it's become home for Aaron and his family. So much so that when other clubs have inquired about his services, he has elected to stay here, further endearing himself to a fan base that's grown to love his self-deprecating sense of humor, energy, and enthusiasm.
A high rising drive. This is blasted out of here. Watch out all the way up top.
What's the art of the home run call?
The home run call is a really fun thing to talk about and think about, and can be harder to execute. And I think that one of the things that helped me is to finally realize the very obvious thing, which is every home run's different. And for me, it's almost like an amusement park ride. Like, you are strapped in and you are allowing yourself as the broadcaster to live in the moment of that call and just feel it and react to it. And hopefully over the course of 162 games and hundreds of home runs, I have more successes than failures, because every time it's different, and no matter what, it's always fun.
And it's gone.
For Seattle Refined, I'm Brandon Bernstead.